Hey guys, my name is Bridget and today we're going to be talking about Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, which is our bookish thoughts and feelings book of the month for June, and our live show will be held on June 5th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my channel here. While this review will be spoiler free, I would not recommend watching it until you've read the book just because I think it's good to go into this book blind. I'll just say that I did really enjoy it, and I think you would too if you like books with kids with powers and stuff like that. This book is really awesome with that. I think going into it blind makes it a lot more interesting because if you know stuff going into it, it's not as fun to learn about all of it so that you don't know where it's going. So I would definitely recommend checking this out because it was a lot of fun to read. So without further ado, let's get started with my rating of this book. And that is all I think I'm going to be talking about for this book because we're going to be discussing it during the live show. Characters, I gave a 16 out of 20 or 3/4 of a star. You really get to know the characters throughout the book and see how they change. And I really liked how you got to see Alina's relationship with Mal and how it started and how it progressed and how it changed throughout the book because you really got to know how their relationship worked. I'm still not exactly sure that we should trust Mal though because his name is Mal, which means bad. The Darkling is a very mysterious character. I know everyone says they love him so much, and I sort of got to know what they're talking about in this book, and I'm not sure how I feel about him because he's very mysterious. You don't know a lot about him, and I think that adds to knowing about his character because he has such a huge lifetime that you can't know everything about him, and he's lived so long, and there's so many secrets about who he is and like how he has lived and like what's happened to him. So I hope we do find out more about him. We just didn't learn as much background information about a lot of characters that I wish we could have learned about, and that's why I give it a sort of lower rating because other than Alina and Mal, we didn't really learn about any of the other characters' backgrounds and like what had happened to them before. Plot, I gave a 17 out of 20 or 3/4 of a star again. I really liked the plot. It didn't have as much of a story arc in the beginning. The beginning was really setting up the story and setting up what's going to happen and how she was introduced to this world, but then 2/3 of the way through about everything finally starts to become clear and what's going to happen becomes clear and what has to happen and where the story is going, and the story arc really picks up and you find out what's happening. The beginning was very helpful in learning the layout of this world and learning about all these different characters, but at the same time not as much happened and a lot more happened in the last third of the book that set up for later stories, that set up for later books, and the beginning did set up things that were going to happen later on and what was going to happen so that later on we could find out the meaning of something that had happened. So I understand why the beginning is a bit slow because there's a lot of world building. It's a fantastic world, which I will talk about later, and I understand why that needs to happen. So I really did enjoy the plot of this book. Setting, I gave a 20 out of 20 or 1 star. The setting was very well done. The whole world is very well mapped out and you learn about the politics of the world and how the different statuses work with their different powers, and I thought that was really interesting. I love powers, and this book really had that. And the way it was laid out made it really interesting to the reader to find out more about this world and more about how things work. Writing, I gave an 18 out of 20 or 1 star. I liked the writing a lot. It was really easy for me to just sort of quickly read, made it flow very well. It fit with the way you would see the story being told. But at the same time, it didn't really stand out to me as any type of writing style. Enjoyment, I gave an 18 out of 20 or 1 star. I really enjoyed reading this book. It was really interesting to read, and it was a lot of fun. I really love the power idea. I love people with powers, like Darkest Minds. This series has powers, and I find that great. Overall, I give an 89% or 4.5 stars. And I really enjoyed this book. Let me know down in the comments what you guys thought of it, if you liked it as much as I did, and definitely come join us for the live show on July 5th to discuss this book in more detail. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video, which will be up probably tomorrow. So I will see you guys then. Bye!